And so with the changes within the state, it's just created these incredible challenges for not just CSA, but most organizations that fulfill the needs of people within our community. And so kind of being adaptable and pliable, as I said, is just what these organizations have to do. And Christina and her executive team and her the people that work within CSA, I can't say enough. I think they're incredible. I think they are heroes in our community.
Recorded at Amplified Studio in downtown Des Moines, Give and Grow is more than a podcast. It's a commitment to our community. Founded by Andy and Sarah Suzanen alongside the RIA Group, this initiative is dedicated to uplifting the organizations and individuals who work every day to make Central Iowa a better place for all. Welcome to the Give and Grow podcast, where we share the stories of the nonprofits transforming lives in our community. Each organization is featured in 3 episodes, offering a deeper, more personal look at their impact. Through conversations with passionate staff, generous donors, and the very people whose lives have been changed by their work, our hope is simple: to connect, inspire, and strengthen the bonds that make our community thrive.
Welcome to the Give and Grow podcast. I'm your host, Siobhan Spain. This is the second of 3 episodes featuring the nonprofit Community Support Advocates, or CSA. Community Support Advocates is a 501c3 nonprofit creating hope together with those impacted by mental illness and disabilities. They are a designated public health safety net organization and a disabilities access point under the governor's overhaul of Iowa's behavioral health services. I'm happy to have a strong supporter of Community Support Advocates with us today. Cara Kennedy-Ode is a board member and donor.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. I appreciate your time.
It's good to be here.
Yeah. So we're talking about all the things happening in the public health realm, and it's so much these days. So, besides the behavioral health services rehaul in Iowa, because of the government's shutdown, SNAP benefits are on hold and running out. I think it sounds like Medicaid qualifications are going to be changing for folks, which there's just a lot of unpredictable and upheaval and changes to manage.
It's a lot. It's a little bit like a fire hose right now, I think.
Yeah, so I think it's really good for us to just bring up the topic and see how we're doing and give some perspective to the situation from the perspective of community support advocates.
And I think it's really important because those of us who are privileged enough to have access to regular access to the internet and news organizations can see what's happening on a daily basis, but people who are don't have access to that on a daily basis don't necessarily know what's coming, what's on the horizon, which, November 1st is looking like it's going to happen, that SNAP benefits are going to be cut off. And those are creating dire situations, create dire situations.
Yeah. I've been reading a lot of articles about people that are on SNAP, so their voices are heard and understood. The situations that they're in that is in real need of these benefits to be able to feed their kids and try to get ahead and make good decisions for their families. So it's hard to hear. How did you get connected with Community Support Advocates?
So I was connected initially by my sister-in-law, Susan Watts. She is the owner of Olson Larson Gallery. She's also very involved in the community in a lot of ways. And she was a board member of CSA. and she introduced me to Christina Smith. It was in a situation where CSA was in a ready to add 3 more board members. And I have a passion for organizations that support people with mental health issues and physical disabilities. I've seen within my own family, extended family, and just people I know who have struggled with mental health issues and tried to do it on their own. And so my affinity to organizations that give a lifeline to people who are in need, it's really important to me. And so meeting with Christina and hearing about the mission and talking to her more about how the reach of CSA within the community, so I got involved I'm in my 2nd term, so I think I'm 5 years into working with CSA in different capacities, but mostly as a board member, a donor, a volunteer, and, kind of a cheerleader, if you will.
Yeah. So when I had Christina on, she mentioned the fact that there's a lot of changes on a regular basis. So responding to the needs of the community, and then changing things based on the contracts that come up and are available to fulfill for the state and the county. But this seems like another level from my perspective. So
I think that's a fair statement.
Yeah.
I think I've always said in my experience with CSA is they're very pliable and adaptable to funding sources and meeting the needs of people in any way that they can. But let's be fair, funding is the most important. It's the way that the organization moves forward. And funding streams change. And so with the changes within the state, it's just created these incredible challenges for not just CSA, but most organizations that fulfill the needs of people within our community. And so kind of being adaptable and pliable, as I said, is just what these organizations have to do. And Christina and her executive team and her the people that work within CSA, I can't say enough. I think they're incredible. I think they are heroes in our community, and they just they'll find a way.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing, is that they're just determined to find a way, because they know what the needs are. They're on the ground.
Yes.
And if I wish that there were the leaders in our community and the people, the decision makers, really would talk more directly and really listen to people who are on the ground, like the social workers that work within CSA, and so that they can really find out what's going on and determine just a really effective way to meet the needs. Because I'm just not sure that, I think these decisions are being made on a higher level. And then, the people that are on the ground are really having to make really difficult decisions in the way that these people are served. And it's a little inhumane, to be very honest with you.
I know that I've got to know CSA through their Momentum Art program at Mainframe Studios. And so slowly getting to know CSA as a larger organization has been so enlightening to me. And it also perplexed me how a nonprofit could be so unknown in the community. But getting to know them, realizing how they're the quintessential nonprofit that does the work, and they're so focused on the work, And I think in the past, they've also relied a lot on contracts, where Christina wanting to change that dynamic a bit and open up to more diverse funding streams to be able to sustain and actually pay living wages means they have to be out in the public more and out in the different public, I guess I should say, because they are in the public quite a bit. And how she does work with her peers to advocate. I mean, that's a huge thing that she advocates for, those payouts that they're able to contract for, which are really small. So it's kind of constraining on how much she can pay her employees.
Right.
There's a lot of things. It seems it is a very complex system of systems.
Right. Systems within the
Yeah,
systems.
exactly. So I can see, the need for how somebody could want to rehaul it to try to make it more equitable,
Right.
and accessible, no matter whether you're living in the city or out of the city, and whatever your financial situation is, and county to county and all that good stuff.
Yep.
And hopefully it's, in the long run, it will prove really useful. But like you said, in the short run, it's really hard to shift so quickly when you have people that do rely on that lifeline, and a specific lifeline for their well-being and their connection to community, and just some people, this CSA is all they have. So I really appreciate how dedicated CSA is to their clients, and they've been doing such a great job of doing that. I think they have a great reputation, that's in a hard industry.
You're right. And to be fair, I think you're exactly right. The goal of this overhaul is to make sure that there are rural areas in Iowa that are not being reached, that are not getting the same services.
Right.
And to make that equitable is really important. What it does is Polk County was really robust in services.
They really were.
And to their credit, they were serving people really, really well. But as a result of making things more equitable, some of those services within the Polk County area are being watered down to create equity. And so people in Des Moines and in the greater Des Moines area, some of those services that they received previously will change in a radical way. And even in, let's just talk in terms of when you and I get our hair cut, we like to go to the same person, right? That's really important.
Yeah.
They know us.
Yeah.
We walk in the door. We talk about the same things. They know our hair. It's a really superficial thing, right? So if you are getting services for mental health, and you've gone to the same person for the last 5 years, and they know you, they know your home, they know your children, and you're suddenly having to work with someone else, and that person has to explain to you that they no longer can work with you, or your services that you're so used to getting are changing. That can, in and of itself, be traumatic.
Yeah, disruption in services can really set people back.
It can, and none of us likes change, and so that can be very difficult. And then in a climate where things are happening, like SNAP benefits are, going to be cut off, or those kind of things can create kind of these shifts in your life that are really hard to navigate, and all of that stress adds up, and it can make for really difficult situations.
Yeah, and frankly, it's hard to see how much wealth people are accumulating along at the same time that these strains are happening,
there's just bigger shifts. There's bigger gaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the right word.
Yeah. It's a tricky time to feel like we can get through this.
Yeah, it really is. And I think, if we want to try to bend it toward the positive a little bit, CSA is on the ground and they're not giving up, and they're really working within their parameters that they've been given, and they're going to meet the needs to the best of their ability.
Right.
And their, referrals are going up. I was in a board meeting on Tuesday where anticipated referrals were, I'm not going to throw out numbers because that's not fair, but it's double what they thought. Their phone is ringing on a daily basis, double what they thought they would be receiving at this time. And these are just families reaching out and trying to figure out who can help them.
Yeah.
And how they can meet their own needs. And but CSA is daunted a little bit. I won't.
Sure, I can imagine.
But also very determined.
Yeah.
To do what needs to be done. And so there's organizations, not just CSA, but really a lot of these nonprofits are stretched thin, but they're going to keep working.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so grateful for that. So the website, for the state says there won't be any disruption in services. So I mentioned that earlier. I just want to clarify that disruption can mean a lot of different things. So maybe they have access to the same care. It could be a different person. It could be on a different timeline. It could be a different access point than they're used to. So that is a disruption.
Transition is hard.
Yeah.
And understanding that transition can be very stressful.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand, or probably don't, because if you have a regular income and you have some cushion and you can't really understand what it's like to live really on the edge, because maybe you have a health condition, a disability, and these little things that we take for granted are really big in their long-term health and well-being. So I'm very I feel for all those people going through this, because they are human beings. They are our neighbors. They are our schoolmates. They're here,
part of our community.
Yeah, we don't realize it, but there's a lot of people living in these situations. Yeah.
Yes.
It makes us grateful for what we have, and it also makes me wonder how we can help more.
Yeah, and that's really important. I think as a community, we need to really lift everybody up.
Yeah.
A rising tide.
Yeah. Absolutely.
As we all know, and we can. I think at some point you're going to talk about this, but as you're thinking of your end of year contributions, if that is something that you are privileged enough to be able to think about at this time, organizations like CSA are just very good stewards of the donation, and will put your money to good use immediately.
Yeah. I definitely agree, and I think to point out that they're a local nonprofit. This is not a corporation. This is not a chain of organizations. These are it was grassroots.
Yeah, it's an organization that's been around for 25 years.
Yeah.
And, Siobhan and I have talked today about how we're, there's state funding, there's county funding, and that all is very crucial on the bottom line of CSA's budget. But not only that, donations are equally as important, because sometimes that funding doesn't quite meet the threshold of what is needed on a monthly basis for these organizations. It's just the reality.
Yeah, on Give and Grow in these conversations, we've talked a lot about the cushion for that ability to be nimble. And I think CSA's cushion is pretty thin right now, as with a lot of folks. Remember when the whole United Health network went down a couple years ago, and so places like CSA weren't able to get their payments. So many organizations had to close because we don't realize how close to the line they operate. Yeah. And
the margins are thin.
The margins are really thin, and we don't want that. We want CSA and their fellow peers to be able to operate and operate well.
Right.
Because they're doing important work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so important.
Is there one program that you can point out that you've gotten to know in your role as a board that you can talk about a little bit, just to get people understanding the type of services that happen there?
Sure. I mean, I think if we talk about one of the things I think is really important to highlight, if we can talk just a little bit about momentum.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much Christina's already talked about this, but momentum
Not much. We didn't have a lot of time. There's a lot to talk about on the upheaval part.
Okay, that's fair.
Overhaul.
So momentum is kind of this, if you will, offshoot of the organization that is an art program that operates out of Mainframe Studios. And it was started 20 years ago by Christina. And basically what happened, and I'm going to paraphrase this,
sure,
but she was working with a client who found some real healing in his artwork. And she just saw what a transformation he kind of went through in his mental health journey in his artwork. And so she thought, you know what, maybe this is something that more people can benefit from. And so she started Momentum kind of on a shoestring. And it's now an organization, like I said, that runs out of Mainframe. And people can come and just be who they are within this studio and express themselves through art. And it's been kind of amazing for some of our artists who are regular attendees of the studio. And one of the biggest things is it's free. It's free for everyone who attends.
And you don't have to present any paperwork or anything.
Right.
I mean, can you imagine in this world where it's all about paperwork and systematic, like, needs,
right,
where you can just walk in, anybody that identifies with a mental health issue or a disability can come in and just be part of that community, which is pretty cool.
It's really incredible. And so within this studio, they can kind of just find themselves.
Yeah.
And we have had now every year, once a year, we do a juried art exhibition where artists can submit their work, and it's truly an art show that is juried by a local artist, and this year we held it at Olson Larson Galleries, and it was this incredible evening where, you know, it's an awarded event, so there are, I think, I don't know, 5 artists that are awarded. And so they walked in and didn't know whether, you know, where their piece was going to be on the wall. They brought their families. And, you know, when you're in Olson Larson is this beautiful space.
Yeah. And
you're invited in and your art is hung on the wall. And some of them were awarded through the juried process, and to see their faces, that's can be really transformative. And to see a piece of you in this beautiful studio and to share it with your family and to share it with people of the community. And I don't know, I think that's one of the pieces of CSA, just a little piece.
Yeah.
But it's really a way for people to express themselves and find themselves in a creative expression.
I really appreciated getting to know the Momentum program a lot, just how it was really important for Christina to have Momentum at Mainframe. So these artists, these people are surrounded by other artists.
True. Yeah, that's
and
so
not
true.
Off in the distance, you know, but really part of that fabric of the creative community, which I thought, you know, was a great aspect of why she wanted that to happen there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've gotten to know the artist through that program, and it is really great. They have great artwork coming out of there, and I love that annual show. It's usually in October.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, it's in October.
Yeah, so people can keep an eye out for that.
And I think one of the things you said, if you don't mind, community is such an important word, and for people to just feel a part of something is just so valuable. They're accountable to somebody. It's that comfort level of feeling like I'm a part of something that's bigger than myself in any way that you can find it.
And have that tether.
Yeah. Yeah.
To hope and just understanding and
acceptance.
Yeah. I do think that they do it so well. When they had a grand opening in West Des Moines at their new place, it was really great to see all the people that were behind CSA and excited about their new location and how good the space felt.
Yeah, it feels really good.
I think that really stood out to people. I think they were really surprised that you kind of feel like when you're talking about social services and these different needs in the community, how it might feel a little sterile and like clinical.
Yeah.
And they really emphasize the need for staff and clients to really feel like it's part of their home.
Yeah.
That they're welcome there in a comforting way. And of course, the artwork is there as well. That reflects that priority of how art can be a helpful tool.
Yeah.
Along the way. Yeah. Well, I appreciate your dedication to CSA. How else can people learn about community support advocates? And obviously they can donate through CSA. Their website is teamcsa.org.
Yes, thank you
love
for
that
saying that.
They see themselves as a team.
That's right.
So teamcsa.org. And there's a donate button on there, of course. That's very easy to see.
Yep. Easy to see, easy to donate. You can designate to Momentum. You can give your funds straight to CSA. Like I said, they're a pretty amazing steward of donations, and we'll use it wisely. And I think just actually checking out the website is really helpful. It's kind of guides you through what CSA's services are all about, and I think it's important to educate yourself on how they reach people. And not only that, but our location, like Siobhan just said, is moved into West Des Moines. We are right across from Valley West Mall in a building that is accessible via the interstate and really welcoming to the people that we serve. And it's just been exciting to see that. CSA was in not as welcoming a space, I would say, previously.
You could say that, yeah.
And we're just it's, like you said, the artwork's on the wall. There's a lot of hominess to it. And it feels really good to just walk in the door.
If people want to take a tour, just reach out to them and set up a time to meet with Christina or their staff member. It really makes a difference to be able to step in those doors and have a tour and really see firsthand what's happening there. And I think
For sure.
That's a great thing to do if you want to get to know community support advocates. And of course, First Fridays at Mainframe for Momentum is another aspect.
So, for sure.
Thanks, Cara, for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
I really appreciate it. I love the conversation. And again, if people want to learn more, it's teamcsa.org.